conflict between Russia and Ukraine has intensified recently, and there are many issues worthy of our consideration. We can see two national flags. They represent the respective positions of their respective countries. We can see that the areas of the two countries are very different. It is difficult to imagine that they have been at war for so long. The war was very fierce, and many soldiers sacrificed their lives to defend their country. They all deserve people's respect. We can see that the war has brought a lot of suffering to people, and the houses and cars on the streets have been damaged. The homes where people once lived are now in ruins, so the war did not bring any benefit to people, so we have to call for peace. Over the years, we have seen Russia attack Ukraine from all directions. This caught Ukraine off guard. Now we can see a soldier with love on his hands. This makes us understand how rare and precious peace is. Next, I will analyze the role of the media in the Russo-Ukrainian War. What did they do and how did they report on the war? And how people understand this war, and whether the media's reports on the war are true and do not make false propaganda because of their own positions. I will share the relevant information I found for analysis so that we can better understand the role of the media and how to report it correctly. This news article reports on the media's view of the war in Ukraine. The media uses a lot of social media to report news. Then I selected 5 countries and conducted interviews to learn how I learned about this news. Germany, which is closest to Ukraine, is the one who knows the news best because many issues, including energy issues, will affect them. People as far away as Brazil don't know much about it. People in these 5 countries basically see it on TV. Fewer people aged 18-24 pay attention to this news, while men in the United States pay more attention than women. Many people have avoided this news, and some people treat it as if they can't see it, maybe because of their own stance or because they don't want to pay attention to it at all. This picture shows us well that people avoid the news, but people in some countries are more concerned about this matter. Here is a video I found online about the role of social media in war. I think it makes perfect sense.
Obviously, there are some really positive ways that social media has really brought to light what's happening in Ukraine. You think about President Zelensky's own videos he's taken on the ground and the attention that's captured across the world. So how do we think about social media in this war?
It is, I think, in many ways comparable to the revolution we saw with cable television covering the Gulf War, the first Iraq War back in the early 90s. This is the first sort of classic traditional war in a sense. We have had other conflicts, sort of asymmetric wars where we've seen an explosion of social media coverage. But this is the first time we're really seeing traditional warfare play out on social media. Now the problem is that you don't know when you're getting the full picture. You don't know whether you're just getting snapshots. It's quite hard. Individual events you might see, but you're not necessarily getting the full context. So there's a huge amount of value to it, but you're not necessarily getting the 360-degree view that traditional media outlets might at least aim to provide.
Parmeet, I want to bring you in here because
In this war, the media carried out a lot of false propaganda, deliberately discrediting the other country and conducting information attacks. I think this is very bad. As a media, we should report news truthfully and should not have any position to smear hostile countries. A lot of rumors were spread through the media in both countries. It disturbs a lot of people who don't know the truth, so stop using social media to wage war and report the real news.